Good afternoon. Welcome to the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup, hosted by the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. We are your host and founders of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. That would be myself, Andrew Gay, Mr. Gilbert Pies, and Mr. Tom Fox. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen. How you doing today?
Glad to be here.
Excellent.
All right. So, if it's okay with you, I'll kick us off. We're each going to talk about our top couple picks of weekly news and items that are happening, latest happenings here in the Texas Hill Country in the Kerrville area. So, I guess I'll start with the brewery. I like this article. I saw a good article in the Hill Country Community Journal. I think it was actually posted last weekend, but it is a brewery that is supposed to scheduled to open in March by a local couple here. I think the husband of the couple has generational ties back to the Comfort area. So they've been in the area a long time. They were trying to get out of their day to day 9 to 5 jobs and do something a little bit different. And the husband, I believe, learned how to brew beer back in 2015, and that kind of set off a new venture idea for them. And then COVID happened, through a wrench in things and their plans. They wanted to do a brewery and open up prior to or around COVID, but that extended their journey into where they're just now looking to do it. They are scheduled to open a spot in downtown Kerrville, so that's exciting. It'll add to our entertainment and nightlife and the existing fun things that are already happening here in Kerrville. And I think that community is very supportive of each other. It's good for our local economy, and that'll be a great addition, I think, to our area. So that was really exciting for me to read that article. And then I wanted to mention the Star Party again. That was it got rescheduled. I think the last time we were on here, there was one scheduled that night, but it was cold and cloudy. But they're rescheduled for tonight. And I didn't really go into detail last time, but I did just want to mention I think that stuff is important. And even though you do go out there, and I don't know if you guys have ever been to one of those, but it's not a whole lot of happening. You just go out there and they have preset telescopes and they can look at different deep space objects. But it ties in nicely with what we're doing here in our Eclipse podcast, the night sky, that we're working on here at the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. And there is a dark sky initiative and coalition that was put into place and meets regularly here in Kerrville, because we do have dark skies out here, and it's important that we protect that from light pollution. And as we mentioned with one of our guests on our recent Eclipse podcast, that the importance of that, and that a lot of times we're not even aware of the damage that light pollution, we're not even aware that it's there, and the damage that light pollution does to our area and to our dark skies. And so we want to keep that protected. So I think that's important. And then lastly, I'll mention that the Playhouse 2000 just kicked off last weekend or weekend before their season of events and plays. And me and Juliet I've heard really good feedback about that. And that is just apparently a great show to go see. So if you're in this area and you're looking for something to do, that would be a winner. So go check them out. They always have a nice playbill, a nice setup, and exciting things going on there. So, and that would be a good one to go see if you haven't ventured out to see them yet. So that's all from me. I'll kick it over to one of you guys.
Yeah, so thanks, Andrew. I've got a couple of stories. The first one is that the Cowboy Steakhouse restaurant, it looks like it's going to be sold to HEB, and that the steakhouse will be torn down for a parking lot for HEB employees. It makes perfect sense for HEB to purchase this, although I hate to see that structure torn down. It's a lot of history in that building. Obviously, the family declined to carry on the restaurant tradition of their parents, but I was sort of hoping somebody else might come in and buy it and take that tradition forward. But HEB is at least rumored to be on the market to buy that building, and it will become a parking lot. The second story involves what people feared was a rash of car break-ins. And it turns out that it really wasn't a rash, it was a couple. And that couple happened, though, in a very public place, which is along the Riverwalk. And unfortunately, even here in Kerrville, people need to lock their cars. And many people enjoy the Riverwalk all times of day, lunch, noon, early afternoon, late morning, early morning. It's a beautiful walk. It's well preserved. It's people ride their bikes along it. It's just a great part of what makes this city so special. But it's not a rash of car break-ins. But please use some common sense and please like your car. It's 2023, and although we live in a wonderful place that we all love, I think a lock is only there to keep an honest person honest. And if you keep your car locked, you probably will not be broken into. So those are my two stories, Andrew.
And
Gilbert?
God Almighty, if you carry a gun in your car, secure the doggone thing, will you? That's so many handguns get into the illegal marketplace. They steal them from cars that are either unlocked or unsecured. Don't do that. Golly, that drives me nuts. My two stories are the first one I want to talk about is the old middle school or the old high school, depending on when you went to that institution. It's almost done. They of course started knocking it down late last year after it was sold to a group of developers. And the rumor on the street is there's going to be 5 new businesses coming to town there. Um, First one is going to be a car wash. They're going to have a chicken joint, a bank, a nail salon, and a church. Now, of course, I'm just kidding. I don't really know what they're going to have there, but I think it would be nice. I think everybody in the community would like to see some activities there for young people. That's always been a thing that Kerrville's been lacking. There's always been a big desire to have a entertainment complex for young folks, like a bowling alley, indoor skating rink, or something of that nature that would be appealing to young people. Who knows? Maybe that'll come. Maybe it'll be the long rumored Olive Garden or Red Lobster that'll come. Either or what's the other one that people always talk about? Target. Yes, for whatever reason, everybody and their mother wants a Target here in Kerrville. Who knows? But I would hope that whoever the developers are, that they put a phone number out there, and maybe the citizens of Kerrville can join in on calling them and saying, "Hey, this is what we would like in the community. Maybe you can bring it to us." Whether that works or not, I have no idea. But it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. And of course, some of those, whoever ends up being there, it has to be supported by the community. If it's not, why would they ever come? Because if they can't make a profit, they're never going to do it. The last thing I want to talk about this week is, in case you haven't been paying attention, we are going to have a lunch and learn event on March the 3rd at the Kroc Center. We're going to have a lunch event that talks about why your business needs a podcast. There's a lot of pros and cons to advertising and marketing, and a podcast, we think, would help you in many ways, and we'd like to discuss that a little bit more with you. So if you're somebody out there that has something to say, whether you're a private individual, a small business owner, or an organization that wants to get their message out to the public, this might be something that you consider signing up for. It's at the Kroc Center, like I said, March the 3rd from 11:30 to 1. So it's not a huge time commitment. We're going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of a podcast, how it differs, and is perhaps better than the traditional forms of advertising like media, print media, radio, TV, things of that nature. So we'll have some ideas there, talk to you a little bit about it, and then we'll, of course, share with you the resources that we have available to help you bring your podcast to life. So things like perhaps you're a religious organization, you want to talk a little bit more about what your church does. If you're a small business owner that wants to talk a little bit about what your business does, and you feel like you need a little bit more time than just a 30-second commercial, or perhaps you want to talk a little bit more and introduce yourself to your customers in a bit of a more personal format than just print advertising. So a lot of good options, a lot of good choices. Consider coming. The cost is very reasonable. It's $20 a person. You can go to our website, TexasHillCountryPodcastNetwork.com, or you can check out our Facebook page. We've got some advertising there and some links that you can go to sign up for the event. March 3rd, 11:30 to 1. Be there or be square.
I just want to let the record show that maybe I'm not considered a young person, but I would use a bowling alley. Okay. Even as a full-blown adult. Okay.
All right, all
Um,
right.
so-
It's a bowling alley would be good for middle-aged guys like me too.
That's right. It'd be fun. And although a Target too, that might make my wife happy. So I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Do y'all know where the nearest skating rink is? To
San
Kerrville?
Antonio.
Well, yes, there's probably plenty in there, but there's also one in Junction that a lot of people go to. Really? Who wants to go to Junction to go to
Wow.
a skating rink? My kids have gone to several birthday parties at a rink in Junction. I've never been there, but I understand it's
You're really dating yourself now. I mean, I had I had skaterama
skating rink,
parties
yeah,
growing
man,
up, but
it's a thing. It's a thing. People like that, especially young people. So
I would. It'd be a nice outing for a weekend. So,
yeah, it'd be something interesting to do, or at least take your kids, or I don't know, your neighbor's kids, somebody's kids.
Yeah. Okay, gentlemen. Anything else to add? Final thoughts before we close out for the weekend? Anything?
So this weekend, my wife and I are going to start watching Oscar movies. That's our weekend.
Okay.
Nice.
Hey, that's a nice little activity. I never really thought about it like that. You silo them off, and
Yep.
yeah, okay, all right.
What movies are up for? I guess Best Picture. Is that the big one? Is that the biggest
don't
category?
know.
It's just an excuse to watch Top Gun again.
Top
Yeah,
Gun.
there That's on first on Tom's list.
Yeah.
I'm planning on going to the star party tonight. I'm going to drag my wife along. Of course, it's my mother-in-law's birthday, so we'll be hanging out with them this weekend. Then we have another niece's birthday on that side of our family this weekend too. So we'll be hanging out with them most of the weekend and enjoying the area. They have some set up at their house where we can enjoy the outdoor seating and the view. And if the weather's nice, it'd be great to take advantage of that. So
Be sure to shoot a gun off in the air.
we can do
watch
that
the
out
bullets
there.
come
so
down.
just remind ourselves that we live in Texas. Maybe not in the air though.
Yeah, just don't get
Yeah.
into any gunfights with people. It's no
Okay.
fun.
Okay, Gilbert, you doing anything this weekend? Got anything planned?
I
You
hope
wanna add?
not. I hope not. I hope I stay home
Sounds
and relax and chill
Sounds
out.
nice.
I'm more of a homebody, and thankfully my kids are too.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for joining me as always. And thank you guys for your viewership and your participation. And don't forget our event coming up March 3rd. Be on the lookout for that. Please sign up. Come see us. We have a lot of great things to talk about with you. Podcasting for your business. And we will see you back here next week. Have a wonderful and safe weekend.